And good afternoon, everyone. This is Cassandra, and welcome to another episode of Couch Time with Cassie. And once again, we have my special guest, my very, very special guest, Miss Jody Ann Fan,
Hello,
here
everyone.
to join me. And at some point, Ginger might jump in or out, but we'll let her do what she does anyway. So, the last time we were here, we were talking about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
But today, I want to talk about something even more important and detrimental to everyone, especially to us as women, working women, and mothers in general, and that is self-care. So when you hear self-care, it's become a very common topic. It's become a big theme, and I'm all for it. I support it. However, I feel like we've gotten too light with self-care, where it's been limited to get a mani-pedi or girls trip, or just some sort of surface level activity. And today we want to talk about self-care at its root, because self-care is much more than just getting your nails done or getting a facial. Now, as girls and girls we both love all of that.
Yes, we do.
I love my manicure,
We
I love my
never.
pedicure, and I know you love your massages.
I do.
As do I. But it goes so much beyond that, because that stuff, yes, it takes care of like the exterior things, and it does make you feel better to spoil yourself a little bit, but we want to go to the root of self-care, and that's caring for your soul, caring for your spirit, caring for yourself on a much deeper level. So that's what we're going to get in today.
Yeah, it's a really great topic, and I think it's always a timely one to visit. So,
And one thing I definitely want to talk to you about is being self-care as a mom. And I know mothers, you're the last person you usually care about, but why don't you share a little bit about how you prioritize caring for yourself in a deep and meaningful way, being the mother of twins?
yeah, thank you. Self-care has always been important to me, even when I was a single woman. It was, you always have to prioritize yourself. You have
Absolutely.
to love yourself, pour into yourself. Whether you're single, married, mom, or not a mom, it definitely should be at the top of your list. For me, especially as a mom of twins, when I had my children, I made sure that I was always prioritizing more time for myself.
Okay.
My babies were first, but I was also at the same level. So there were times I would book my babysitter, and I would take my book and go to the beach to take a nap, just to have a nap, to recharge. It's really important that you pour back into yourself, because how can you pour into others if you're not full? So, I do different things. Like you said, mani-pedis, massages are great, but I also love to journal. So that quiet time and quiet space in my head. I do love to also work on my finances. Financial care is part of self-care, and women don't think about that sometimes.
Let's put a little pin right here.
Okay.
So you actually hit something really important, because you know me, I'm all about financial literacy. And where that becomes important about self-care is managing your anxiety. So I feel that if you are anxious about your finances, that shows up for your children. You show up in an anxious state. Even the words that you use. I mean, not everyone grows up in a financially secure house. I know I didn't. And the anxiety of growing up worrying about finances has definitely impacted me, where I know that I make my decisions driven by that, making sure that there is financial security, making sure there's always money and then some,
Yes.
that you're never in a space of lack. Because I feel like growing up in a situation where there's financial insecurity has a negative impact on children, their self-esteem. It causes them to dream a little smaller, think a little smaller, and it really puts a cap on who they can become, because there's always that fear of there not being enough.
Yes.
So being in a space where you're financially healthy, and I'm not talking about a millionaire or anything like that, it's just being in a space where you're making good financial decisions.
Absolutely.
To put yourself in a place where you're at peace. That way financial insecurity isn't a big thing in your household, because I know if you're worried about the bills, chances are you might be irritable, you might be short with your children, you might snap at them, or they can sense that worry coming in. I mean, growing up, that was a thing for me, where I didn't ask my mom for anything because I didn't want her to feel like I was putting an additional burden on her.
Sure.
I didn't ask her for things, and she would always express when I was older that she was grateful that I always understood. But thinking about it as a 7 or 8 year old, I shouldn't have really even been aware of all that in a sense. Granted, I'm glad I am because it has shaped me in a way where I am very cognizant of the cost of things, of the value that it has, and I make sure when I'm making decisions, I'm grateful for what I do have, and I make sure I'm aware of the difference between a want and a need.
Yes.
And I verbally correct myself. Like if I'm saying, oh, I need that, I'm just like, no, that's a want, not a need. So that's where making sure you are in a good place financially by participating in financial literacy, making a regular budget.
Having a will, knowing what's on your credit report. Don't, just keep your head buried in the sand. That's all part of self-care and your overall wellness. So absolutely.
And it takes a lot of that burden and that stress out of your home so you can show up better.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, that was a nice unloading. Unloading.
Yeah, no, that was good. One of the other things that your fitness and your health, overall health. Okay. So that's another area that I'm very focused on.
I see your videos of you in the gym and you working out, and I'm just like, I support it.
Yeah, I don't know, lately the energy has come. I think it's making sure I'm around longer for my children. So that's been the priority. I work with a nutritionist. I work with a personal trainer. I'm making sure I'm active and going to the gym often and keeping my body moving. So that's also part of self-care. Yes, getting a massage is good, but knowing that your internal health is also good. And when my physical health is good, it helps with my mental health. So
it's one less thing you have to worry about because you're good.
Yes.
And if you're saying like I don't have the money for a nutritionist and all that, many of these things are covered by your health insurance. Yes. So you can actually reach out to your health insurance company and find a nutritionist that is covered, or your benefits may come with different options, lower costs, or gym memberships. For me, I'm not a big fitness person. It's just never been my thing. And even when it was, I felt like I never really got the results that I wanted. So there was no big drive for me. So what I did was find things that I actually do enjoy, like yoga. I can do yoga. I totally love yoga. And recently I bought a walking pad for my house.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Because I don't want to be in the gym because I'm thinking about the time it takes me to drive to the gym and do all that stuff and then drive back. That's time I could be spending doing something else. So I went online and I bought a walking pad. They're really inexpensive. You can, get one on different marketplaces because I'm not promoting anyone in particular, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. You can get a nice walking pad for maybe $130, and it just makes things easy for me. I have it set up in my living room. It's right next to the television. So while I'm decompressing at the end of the day, watching TV, or I'm listening to meditation or even prayers, I can just hop on the walking pad. It's right there, and it's so small you can slide it under the couch when you're done if you ever need to hide it. So it's about finding the fitness that works for you. Not everybody is into the gym. Not everybody is into running. Find the kind of exercise that works for you.
Yep, I agree. Find the kind of activity that works for you. But what's also great is you're contributing to your HSA and FSA account. Your healthcare spending account is also another form of self-care, and that's one of the things that I love, because your walking pad could probably be something that you could use that
your FSA or HSA to purchase. Absolutely.
I've seen there's meal plans that you can use it for, massagers for my feet that I could use it for.
Yep.
All part of my self-care. And going back to working with a nutritionist, this is part of my health insurance through my job. No additional cost. I get to work with a professional that helps me to stay focused on my goals and making sure I'm eating right. And, I take advantage of that completely.
Yeah, I actually signed up for the health coaching program where they call me every couple of months, check in how I'm doing, where I am with my goals, and finding different things to get healthy. And sometimes before you get on a fitness journey, the best thing to do is go see your PCP, because it's not just I'm working out because I'm trying to lose weight. There could be underlying circumstances or different factors that may be contributing to your overall health. So the first place that, starting with that self-care, especially regarding your physical health, is going to your primary care doctor and having an assessment, because they can identify things. I know for years I used to be in the gym trainer. I was doing aquafit. I was outside running. My coworkers used to actually make fun of me because it could be 95 degrees, but I was out there like walking, and they'd see me at lunch every day, and I got so frustrated because I'm just like, why is nothing changing? And then I went to my doctor, who sent me to a specialist, got some tests, like, okay, you have an issue. So then it kind of helped me to be a little kinder to myself in realizing that, yes, you're working out, yes, you're eating right, but you're not losing weight because you have a medical condition that you might need to address in order to get the results that you're seeing. So if my weight fluctuates up or down or whatever it is, as it usually does, you can always tell by the videos, like she's in a up or she's in a down right now.
Like most of us.
It depends on where I am in my health journey. And I learned to not be so upset with myself, because I know as it goes up, it's going to go back down as my body regulates, or I'm on a new regimen or new medication or whatever it may be. So that's a big part of self-care, and you don't think about it like that. You should. Going to your doctors, doing your physicals, going to your GYN annually,
Absolutely.
getting your mammogram. I just got mine done. Yes, it's uncomfortable. And I really think at this point in our society, they should find a better way to test your breasts. But until they do, we have to use what we have and get it done.
Absolutely.
So get your mammogram, go to your GYN, go to your PCP. If they send you for follow-up tests, please go. And the other thing I want to talk about, if you're going to a doctor and you feel like you're not being heard, you're not married. Find another one. Find another doctor. If the one you're talking to is... And Ginger just co-signed that.
Yes, she did. She agrees.
So if the doctor you're seeing, you feel like you're not being heard, you're not listening to you, your concerns aren't being taken seriously, find another one.
Yes.
You can go to... not being sponsored, but go to ZocDoc. You can actually read the reviews and what other people are saying. Exactly.
What she said.
And she even went and got her physical. Ginger gets her physical twice a year, gets her blood work and all her analysis done to make sure that she's healthy and she lives a long, healthy life. Right, Ginger?
And I agree with you. And that goes to anyone that's part of your self-care team, whether it's your doctor, whether it's your therapist, your nutritionist, your personal trainer. If you don't feel that connection, you don't feel like they're advocating on your behalf, you're not being heard, you don't need to be, you're not tied to them. So you can absolutely move on.
Find someone else.
And it's good. It's like dating, right? Until you find the right one. So just keep dating and trying until you find the person that, is a better fit for you, is aligned with you, hears you, and understands what your needs are, and they're delivering on that for sure.
And for us really busy people, it's meditating and journaling, as you mentioned, is a really great self-care activity. But it doesn't mean you have to sit there for 30 minutes and meditate or journal for an hour. 5 minutes is good. So for my routine, I have it set in my my Alexa that every day at 6:30, she leads me through a guided meditation. It takes about a minute and a half, but to prioritize it for myself, I have it set every day at 6:30. It goes on and she leads me through a guided meditation. So you can set it for whatever time you want. You can use technology in your house as you want to. You can set it in your phone or whatever works for you to establish that and make it a priority in your life.
Absolutely. I do meditation at home with my children and using the Alexa app. I didn't know I do have a guided session with her, but with my children, we just say, Alexa, play meditation music, and we each just sit quietly. My son is very big into that, and just being quiet and at one with ourselves and our thoughts. And I love it. It really helps, and it really makes a difference. I think it's never too early to teach children to be mindful and to meditate and quiet their thoughts and their minds and just be in tune with their feelings. And
effectively manage their emotions as well.
Their feelings. So absolutely. I think another thing that's a huge part of self-care, which some people it's taboo, some people it's necessary, therapy.
I was waiting to get to this part.
But before we do that, I want to say, I have a whole team. Like, I have you, my life coach, right? I have a whole team for the different areas of our lives to help me focus on my career and staying on track and making sure that I'm hitting all my goals. definitely want to make sure that you have a team with you if possible. If you feel that it's needed, it's a therapist like you, a counselor, a life coach, or whatever it is to help you with the areas
A
that you need to
financial
focus on.
literacy expert.
Absolutely.
And most successful people, like, celebrities, entrepreneurs, business people, they have a whole team. And you can have one too, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot. For instance, if you have a retirement plan with your company, you can always reach out to a contact there to actually discuss financial planning.
Yeah.
That comes as a part of your benefits. It's not just putting money in your 401k every month and that's it. You can actually schedule an appointment to speak to one of these people. Your doctor, that's a big part of your team. Getting a life coach, that's a part of your team.
Mm-hmm. And you taught me about, when I started my current job a few years ago, the employee resources that's available to you.
Exactly.
All resources that are available at no additional cost.
And these are part of your benefits. It comes with your benefit plan, the EAP. They also have a therapy there where I think they give you a limited amount of sessions where there's no copay involved. So you can actually call and speak to someone and get your therapy sessions there. They have some financial counseling there. Some are pre-recorded. So if your schedule is, super busy and you don't have time, you can actually just listen to a pre-recorded session at your convenience while you're cooking or doing laundry. I've seen them on how to manage grief, financials, anxiety, stress management,
suicide awareness.
Exactly.
And it varies obviously with each one and with your employer, but I've also found where it also covers others in your home.
Exactly.
So that's also a great resource that is not just available to you, but if there's someone else in your home that you think could leverage and benefit from this, you can absolutely tap into it. But let's get back to therapy, because we know that's something that's very important.
Yes.
Especially me as a working mom, mom of two. It's important to me that I take care of my mental health.
Yes, it is.
So I'm showing up as the best partner, the best mom, and just feeling my best, because there are times that we wear so many different hats at work, in life, that sometimes we're not realizing the things that are weighing on us and things that we need to talk to. And sometimes you don't feel like you can talk to people around you about whatever it is. So therapy has been very instrumental for me and helping me with my self-care and being a part of an integral part of that.
And I'm so glad you shared that, because I know sometimes people aren't necessarily so open about, the fact that they're in therapy, but there should be no stigma about therapy. I honestly believe if you're a human being on this planet interacting with other human beings, we all need therapy, because every form of interaction isn't going to be a positive one.
Oh, yeah.
So whether it's issues at work, issues in your relationship, or not even just issues, life transitions.
Yes.
If you are transitioned to the point where you are now caring for aging or sick parents, you may need the support of a therapist. Right. And it doesn't mean you're crazy or unwell. It just means you need some additional support, because now you're supporting other people.
Absolutely.
Whether it's relationship issues or just a check-in. If you're married and you're happily married, you may still want to go for maybe an annual check-in to see how your relationship is doing. But I personally love my therapist. And sometimes what she does is kind of give me a sanity check, is what I usually call it. I'm like, I need a sanity check. So I'll run things by her and we dissect them to see, am I right on this? Or is my frame of thought on this matter accurate, or because she knows me, am I being, emotional or super sensitive or something? And she can give me new perspectives on whatever it is we're talking about, or she can validate, no, I feel like, this is an appropriate response to the stimuli you're going through, or, you know what, why don't we look at this from another perspective?
Absolutely.
So going to therapy, and I want it to continue to be, normalized, and not just because I am a therapist, but because it's so important, and we need to get to that point where we realize it's okay to need help. It's okay to need mental help. It's okay to need emotional help. Because life did not come with a manual. We're all figuring it out, and we can cause damage to other people on their journey because we're not aware of ourselves as we need to.
Yeah, and the same that you invest in your physical health, you take vitamins daily, you're drinking your water daily, you have to also invest in your mental and emotional health, because there's just so many things that depletes you, so many things that impacts it, that, you know, you as being, I also have a tribe. Sometimes I reach out to my tribe when I'm having an emotional day, and I'm just like, sometimes I need someone else to tell me a good way to approach something, and you just need to have someone to bounce ideas off of. So, you know, whatever emotional support or mental support that you need, absolutely. If it's a life coach, a therapist, a counselor, make sure that you take advantage of that, because that is part of your self-care.
And it's also a good way to keep from going off the deep end, because if you address,
talk to me about that. I know you want to. You won't even mention me in my deep end.
I'm not going to mention you in the deep end. But if we nip things in the bud before they become an issue, for instance, if you're going through a lot of stress, where, you know, trouble at work, maybe trouble in a relationship, as these things start to compound, that can lead to other things like severe depression, or maybe burnout, or alcoholism, and then you start not functioning well at work, then you might lose your job, and it'll send you snowball off the cliff.
Absolutely.
So by addressing the issue while it's still very much manageable, that's a good way to keep from going over.
Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes, like, one thing that comes to mind is like being in debt. Sometimes you could feel like it's just so overwhelming that you don't even know where to approach it.
Start.
But if you speak with someone who's a financial coach, or someone who's an expert in debt relief and how to, you know, work on the different techniques to get it done, it definitely helps. And you're like, oh, this is helpful. Like, I recently took a class, Dave Ramsey's financial system, that
Financial Peace University.
Exactly, teaches you how to, an amazing group in Brooklyn, the Bach Business Outreach Center had this course, and I was like, this is free? Are we sure this is free?
Yeah.
Teaches you, and I shared it with so many people after that who are now taking it and just so happy, because sometimes you think you're the only one going through something and you don't know how to approach it, but if you just really tap into others, and again, it's part of your self-care, finances, mental health, spiritual health, everything is just part of that full package when it comes to,
and it's also helpful knowing that you're not the only one, because sometimes we're so cruel to ourselves. It's like, why am I having trouble with this? Like, it's not just you. We're all on this journey together. None of us have instructions, but if you have gone to this level and I haven't reached there yet, you can talk me through it. And then something comes up for you, that for me, that I haven't got experience yet, you can talk me through it. And that's why community is also a big part of self-care.
Community and having your tribe is definitely a huge part. And also, if you're a spiritual person, having that relationship with God,
whoever your God may be,
higher power is also part of your self-care.
And I think my self-care. And I think sometimes we neglect that part. But your spiritual health is also, it's easy to get rid of the intangible. Your mental, emotional, and your spiritual health. But those are the things that feed everything else. Areas. Because if I'm in a good place spiritually and my faith is up, then I'm going to handle work differently. I'm going to handle my relationships differently. My family, my business, because my foundation, the core is completely established.
I agree.
So I think we definitely need to start giving more credit to some of the intangible parts of who we are and our self-care, because they influence the tangible pieces. Okay, so I love this. This was a really good conversation. So we're going to kind of do a quick review. So as we're talking about self-care, we covered financial self-care, and you can always reach out to your EAP for help with that, or your retirement account managers, whoever manages your company's retirement account, for assistance in that. We talked about your physical self-care.
So you can work with a nutritionist, a trainer, or just physically just going to the gym yourself and taking care of your own. You know, there's so many free programs that you can follow, so you don't have to feel pressured to work with, you know, a professional in any of those areas. You can just make sure that you're active. And
YouTube University is also very helpful. Some really nice yoga classes that you can take at no cost to you, so it doesn't have to be expensive. We talked about mental health and emotional well-being, speaking to a therapist, using your EAP for that as well, and using your health insurance. If you're looking for a good one, you can always reach out to your insurance company They'll identify a list of people who are in network, and you try them out until you find one that is a good fit for you.
And I will just add one last thing.
Sure.
It's important that you make time for yourself, even if you're not doing any of the things that's pampering, whether it's going to the park by yourself with your journal, with a book. I make sure on my lunch break I sit now in the kitchen with a book, and that's my time to have some time to myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really important that you just carve out some time for yourself. I take trips alone, and I'm okay with that.
Yes, you are.
I need to, recharge this battery before I can pour into my family and be there for my children. So,
and my new self-care thing is audiobooks. I am completely obsessed with audiobooks. You guys can blame Rebecca Yarros for that and Callie Hart, because I'm reading I'm reading both their series. And if you love audiobooks, because I love to read, but sitting there with that gigantic book is not really my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
So I dive into the audiobooks, and they have it with the full cast, and it's a whole thing, and sound effects, and it just draws me in. But if you don't have the budget to spend on buying audiobooks, or you can't afford it that way, your public library will allow you to borrow audiobooks. Yeah. So I signed up on my library, I downloaded the app Libby, and Libby, and I added my library card number, and it lets me borrow audiobooks from the library. So I
free.
downloaded my free 99, right? Yes. And you can also get other books and magazines, and what I've done is designated my Kindle for that. So there's no emails, there's no social media, there's nothing on my Kindle but pleasure reading, as I call it. It's I'm not reading any emails. I'm not reading, manuals or anything. It's structured. There's no work.
Yes.
There's no Facebook. None of that is on my Kindle.
I love that.
It's just audiobooks. I have the Kindle app. It's just books.
Yeah.
And it's just books that makes me happy.
I love that.
So I definitely, if you have any ideas, definitely add them to the comments. You can share resources on where people can find self-help tools that are low cost or free, and share your experiences, your story, and how you can prioritize your self-care, and tips for us, because we don't know everything and we don't know what we don't know. So we're always open to hearing and learning from you.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us what what you've done, and we'll be open to trying them. So thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on the couch, and thank you to my special guest.
Thank you.
Always love having you here.
Thank you for having me.
And thank
Always
you
a
for
pleasure.
Ginger for co-signing on us. She's comfortably laying on the fur next to the couch, and
Ginger's in her self-care mode right now.
Oh yeah, she just came back from being groomed, and she had her nails done and everything. So she's very passionate about the topic of self-care, as you heard earlier.
As she should be.
So thank you again for joining us on another episode of Couch Time with Cassie with my special guest Jody Ann, and we hope to see you next time.